Hi, I'm Scott Wolf, and I have a lot of Disney I want to share with you. Welcome to my video series. I'm so excited to share my love of Disney with you. And I'll tell you a little bit about me first. I started working for Disney back in 1988. I was hired to work in Walt Disney Television Animation, and I was supposed to work on a show which was called Magic Kingdom, and Mickey and pals were going to go through the Disney parks and have adventures there. But instead they decided to do a second season of DuckTales, and I was the production assistant on that. And then later I was an assistant producer on Tailspin. And I continued working with Disney in many ways over the years. I loved working there, and I loved soaking up the history that was all around Walt Disney's studio. Over the years, I've accumulated a lot of Disney treasures. I've got a few of them right around me. I've got my 1930s first production run Mickey Mouse doll, and also an opening day ticket for the press preview of Disneyland when Walt Disney did his historic dedication speech. And working for Disney, people knew how much I loved it, and they would give me things when they were done with them. This was given to me. This was a Tailspin marketing guide. In it, the show wasn't even out yet. I think somewhere it even says like it was premiering in fall of 1990. They tell about Baloo. They have different pictures of Baloo and his role in Tailspin. And here they show you the characters, and you can see what they look like. You can see their height comparison next to each other. You can see their colors for their eyes, for their fur, for whatever. In the back, they show you different ideas for some merchandise and apparel. Nothing had been made yet. So that's one thing. This was a 1990 Disneyland line, one of my newer treasures, only 30 years ago, I think. And this was my very favorite parade, Party Gras. It was a real groundbreaking parade for Disneyland. I just loved that. Disneyland line, for those who don't know, is the Disneyland newsletter. I've got a lot of these. I have some of the studio newsletters, which are called the Newsreel. I also want to share with you some stories of some friends of mine. Just amazing people that I was able to meet and become friends with through working for Disney. One of them was Harriet Burns. Wow, was she incredible. She was one of the first Imagineers. It was Harriet, Wathel Rogers, and Fred Sugar. She was the first female Imagineer. And every time I would talk to her, she would have these stories. It was just amazing to hear about her experiences in creating the original model for the Disneyland castle, or working on the Mickey Mouse Club, or some of Disney's movies. She was so much fun to talk to. Great sense of humor. And Bob Sherman, he was so nice, such a good friend, such a warm, nice, kind person. And I remember the first time that I went to his house, and he was telling me stories about writing the music for Mary Poppins, and It's a Small World, and the Tiki Room, and stories about Walt Disney. And I was just soaking it all in, and I was so sure I overstayed my welcome. And then he asked me if I wanted a cup of coffee, and I wasn't drinking coffee. I wasn't drinking any caffeine at that time. And I said, sure. And I was able to stay a little bit longer and spend more time with him. In fact, that was the time after that we were talking about music, and I told him the kind of music I like, and I mentioned the singer Michael Feinstein. And he said Michael just recorded one of our songs, Through the Eyes of Love, which we wrote for Mary Poppins, and it wasn't used in the final movie. And he played that song for me. That's the first time I ever heard that song. He was just such a nice guy. And there's so many people who worked with Walt Disney that I got to interview, and I'll share those stories with you too. I also did a lot of photography for Disney, and I did a couple books back in the 90s. This is one of them, Where in Disneyland Park. I've always been fascinated with the details of Disneyland, and I thought it'd be fun to do a book where I show a close-up of something in Disneyland, and then when you turn the page, you see the wide shot. It really pays tribute to all the artists and great people who really pay attention to those details in Disneyland. And the way that I got to do this book is so neat, because I was working in Disney Consumer Products, and I was actually working for the department in that division called Disney Software, which is now called Disney Interactive. The head of Consumer Products was Bo Boyd, a great guy who even received a Disney Legends Award later. And I told him about this idea because I love photography, but I also love the details of Disneyland. And I made a mock-up of the book and I showed it to him. And he got me permission to do this book. See, when you work for Disney, they own your ideas basically. But he got me this contract. So even though I was working for Disney, I could do this on my own. And he even made phone calls to personally get it into the Disney stores and into Disneyland. And then from that, I ended up doing a second book. And this time, they let us go through the attractions, actually walk through the attractions after hours to get some of the photos. And again, it's the close-ups and the details. such as this little worm right here. Do any of you know where that is? You turn the page and you see that it's in Pinocchio's Daring Journey. And then I wrote some trivia for each of the pictures. Let's see, what else is in here? Oh, this one's fun. Do you know where this one is? Beautiful little doll, such detail. And when you turn the page, you see that it's in the Indian village that you see as you're sailing by on the Mark Twain or the Columbia. This picture has a funny story because I wanted daylight lighting for the photo. So the park was open when we were on the island taking the pictures, and every time the Mark Twain or the Columbia went by, my wife and I had to duck out of the way until we got the all clear that it was okay to go back out and snap some more pictures. But I have a lot of photos that I want to share with you. I have photos from so many events like Disney Legends Award ceremonies that we had at the Disney Studios, and Tournament of Roses parades, and all kinds of events that I was fortunate enough to be able to attend. And I'll share photos from my Disney-themed travels around the world. Here's Epcot in 1993, and the World of Motion attraction, which was so funny. I loved that. And I have photos from Tokyo Disneyland and Disney Sea and the Disney Cruise Line and Marceline, Missouri, and so much more. I'm just going to have a lot of fun sharing with you, and I hope that you'll join me and have a good time too. And together, we'll be keeping the magic alive.